Hello everyone. Welcome to today's video where we will be doing a Figma crash course for web designers. So I am a web designer. I also build, I don't only design, but I also build these websites in a tool called Framer. So I'm a big fan of these no-code platforms. But today I want to talk about Figma, which Figma is a powerful design tool. Not only can you build beautiful websites, but you can also create like graphics like this. You can create presentations. You can create invoices for your clients. You can create documents. There's a bunch of possibilities with Figma. Also with the huge community that it has, where there's a bunch of templates and kits that you can use. And other than that, also the plugins, that there's a bunch of really cool plugins that really speed up your design process. So today I just want to do my type of crash course, which is just finding a landing page where we found this one, finding a landing page and just showing you how I would build something like this, right? So this is a landing page that I found in the Framer marketplace. So Framer is a great web development tool to create really nice and well-performing websites. So I would recommend you check that out. I'll put the link in the comments, in the description, sorry. But today we're just going to be building something similar to this. We won't be building the whole site, but we're going to be building some sections just to show you how the process works of building in designing in Figma, right? So without further ado, let's get started. So once you're in Figma, if you're completely new to Figma, you start off with something that looks kind of like this, where you have three files here. If I were you, I would just move them to the trash because they're kind of a distraction, but sure, they might help some of you. So you might want to like look into them and just see what's inside, but I don't really need it. And I always tend to hang out in this recents files. There's like team files like here that they create a team for you, and there's like different team projects, but that's not so important for now. I always, like I said, hang out here in this recents file. There's also a design file, a Fig Jam board, and this new slide deck. So this is basically to create presentations. So once you click here, you can click on the different types of files that you want. So this is for presentations. This is for brainstorming and maybe collaborating with remote workers on a whiteboard type of file. But today we're going to be focusing on this. This is the main type of file that you want to be using, right? So always click on this plus, or you can just click here, but I always click on this plus, click new design file, and you're in. And very important, just rename your file to whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to just call this one web design tutorial. Click enter, and now we are here. And as you can see on the left panel, we have the file, and assets. So file is basically the most important things that are on this file. And they're the pages. So we have different pages. So we have, and we have layers. So basically a page is the following. So if I were to just draw a rectangle, right? I can draw a rectangle and make it the color red. I will create a new page, page 2, and this rectangle is gone. It's only in page 1, right? So this means that if you want to, I don't know, create a wireframe or create like some mood boarding in page 1, you can do so, and then in page 2 you can put the design, right? So we can call this, for example, by double clicking mood board, and here by double clicking design, right? Just to see. I opened this account and it's a free account, so you guys will probably also have a free account, and in the free account you're only allowed 3 pages, so only allowed another one left. Usually in the paid accounts you're allowed multiple pages. So we have the mood board, we have the design. So let's move on to the design. And now, as you can see, when we're in the mood board, we have one layer because we have one rectangle. And if we were to add another rectangle, it'd be rectangle 2. There would be 2 layers, right? So these are the layers. So basically, whenever you add something, there's a new layer added. And as you can see, the rectangle 1 is in the bottom because it's in the bottom of the layers. But if I were to move it up here, then rectangle 2 would be in the bottom, rectangle 1 would be in the middle, and ellipse 1 would be in the top, right? So these are just standard layer rules, right? You can just stack them on top of each other like this. Boom, boom. Rectangle 1 goes on the very top, now it's on the very top, right? So if you're gonna want to build things like this, you're gonna see that, oh, this blue thing seems to be in the very bottom, and then the person is like a kind of like a mix between. This is also interesting. It's kind of like there as a second because it's on top of the blue, right? And then we have these other elements that are on, that are on the very top. So that's just one thing to notice, right? Now let's go back to Figma and let's go to design. So basically you understand this now. Assets I really don't use at all when I design in Figma, but assets, there's different types of assets that you can use. Like for example, if you're designing an iPhone app, you can click on this and you can use all of these different Apple assets that they have here. Like for example, like the different icons, the colors, the alerts, popovers, whatever. All of that is there. And in order to use it, you have to agree to Apple's terms and conditions. There's going to be a pop-up that comes up. But it's not important for now, right? What's important for now is knowing the interface. So you know this. Now we're going to go here. So the main tool that you're usually going to be on is this cursor, right? But there's also this hand tool and the scale tool. And the hand tool basically is, so if I were to draw a circle like this, if I want to move around just with one finger with the cursor, I can't do it. If I were to move with 2 fingers on my trackpad, then I can do it. But the hand is basically another way of just dragging around with one finger and just holding down, you know? So that's basically the hand thing. I don't really use it so much. I just move around with my 2 fingers and zoom in, zoom out. And if I need to use the hand, I can just hold space and just, drag my mouse like this and then remove space. If I were to do that with this pointer, it would just make these selection things, which I don't want. The scale is going to be useful as we build this project because, for example, there are going to be a few things that we want to scale down and they need the scale tool in order to make our lives easier, which I'll show you later. So let's go back to Figma. And what we want to do is we want to see what else is here. So we have frames, sections, and slices. Slice I never use. Sections I use when I work for a client. So if I have different designs, I can make like a section like this, and this design would go to this section. It's not important for you learning right now. What's important for you learning right now is the frame. So if I have the frame tool, and you can either drag and drop, you can either drag and choose your frame size, but I wouldn't recommend this because I would just click here and choose one of these presets here, right? So we have phone, tablet, desktop, and desktop I always choose this one. And then I like to design responsive, so I click tablet. So I just click on this this one, and then I click here and I click on phone, and I just click on the iPhone 16, right? So that's when you design when you have a design, you want to design for all different sizes, screen sizes, and you start off with the desktop and then you go from there to the tablet and then to the iPhone. You can obviously design all at the same time. People are different, but usually that's how you do it. You design first desktop, then you design first iPad Pro or iPad or tablet, whatever, and then go down to the mobile device. I've had some occasions with people that saying, oh, you should design first with the iPhone and then go to the desktop, but that's a big no. And the reason being is that with the desktop, there's much more room for design. And with the phone, it's very compressed, you know? So it's best to start off with your big canvas and then start on compressing the design to the phone at the end. So we got that covered. Now we have our three different frames, right? Now what we want to see are these different tools. So we have rectangle, which I tend to use a lot. We have line, arrow, I don't use a lot. Ellipse, I use sometimes for some design elements. Polygon, star, and this image video, I don't use at all as well. For the images, I use the rectangle, and then you can just, for example, go to fill and click on an image and upload an image like that. So you don't really need to click on that image thing, right? You can just use a rectangle. So I use rectangles for mostly everything, because what I do is when I design, I just create boxes, right? I create a box for the header, a box for the right image, a box for the text. This is just like a very simple structure of how the website would look like, just with boxes at the beginning. So if we were to design this, let's delete the circle. If we were to design this section over here, let me hide my face. But if we were to design this, I take a screenshot, bring it back to Figma, and put it here, it would basically look like the following. So we have this top bar. It's obviously transparent, but it is a nav bar. And in this nav bar, we have and also important to know, we want to add grids to this. So at the bottom over here, there's something called layout grid. So if we click on this and we click on layout grid, we have this crazy red grid, but we can change it by clicking here and clicking columns. And what I always do, I put 12 columns and I put a large margin, about 120 or 100, I don't know, it really depends on, let's do 120. And then the gutter, we can put like 10. And let's change this color from red to blue, because I like blue more. And then what we can do is we can align everything to this. So everything to these grids. And a good shortcut to show and hide the grids is Control-G. So if I were to just click Control-G on and off, you would see the grids on and off. So we have these things, and I'm selecting multiple things by clicking down Shift. So this would be like the text here, right? This is just an example. And then we have button 1, which is going to be smaller. And as you can see, it's a little bit rounded. We can make a little bit of a corner radius. Button 1, button 2. And we're almost kind of done with this. Like, this is just a quick, section, right? We want to make this block kind of invisible, right? We want to know that it's there, but we don't really want to make it so dominant. And we have the logo here, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 texts starting from kind of the very end, right? So let's do it like this. We can do it like something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And as you can see, it's kind of long, right? Because it doesn't go all the way over here. So we can just decrease the size by selecting everything and going like this, right? That looks about right. And voila, we have our very rough draft, right? So this is what I do when I want to just, you know, kind of ideate by myself, say, how can I build this? This guy, this business needs this. It's this kind of business. They need like 2 buttons. They don't need a button up here. You know, I just try to kind of sketch out like this. And once I'm done sketching out, then what I can do is I can grab all of this and group it by clicking Command G. And as you can see, now it's one group, and we can just put kind of like rough draft, right? And in this rough draft, we can, you know, decrease the opacity a little bit, so we can, it's not so, it's kind of like as if we were tracing over it, right? And then let's just lock this for now. So if we click it on the canvas, we can't really do anything, right? So let's turn on this again, and let's try to design this. So we have the top part, we have different texts, and that's where this comes. We have this text. So let's write about us. And as you can see, this about us is, it looks a little bit bigger here. So, and here it's 12 pixels. So we might want to increase the size to, let's say, 16 pixels. So we have about us, we have, it's just features, and I am basically duplicating this easily by just holding down option and dragging the word. So we have testimonials, pricing, and success story. All right, so we have these 5 words right here, but something seems off, and what's off is that they're not aligned. So what we can do is we can just select this, all of these texts, and what we can do is we can make sure that they're aligned by going here and clicking tidy up. And then in tidy up, you can increase the spacing down here by, let's say, 60 pixels, right? And then you just kind of match them here to where you want to match them. You can align them exactly with the end margin, or you can even make it, doesn't have to be aligned exactly. It can be something like this, which also looks nice. Remember, there's no rules to making it exactly like pixel perfect. You just got to make it visually appealing. That's very important, right? So it doesn't have to be the same as your sketch. It just has to be visually appealing to the eye, right? So now we have this plate form. It's called this template. It's a really cool template, by the way. It's for free. You can find it in the Framer template marketplace. So we're gonna call our logo tutorial-fi. I don't know. Tutorial-fi. And we want to change the font because this is like a nice looking font. It's called Inter. But we want to make this font, first we want to make it bold, right? And let's see what else they have. Let's make it like all caps maybe, or no. Let's just keep it as it was. And now let's change the font. Let's look at the fonts. So here, what's cool is that these are all Google fonts. So if you wanted to look for a font, and because here in Figma, you can kind of see a quick overview, but you can go here to Google Fonts. Let me type in Google Fonts. You can go to Google Fonts and you can find this whole library of amazing fonts. So if you want, for example, something that is, you can sort by trending, right? These are the trending fonts. Roboto, these Tamil fonts, most popular ones, Roboto, Open Sans. So you can search like this, or you can categorize it by style. So there's sans serif, there's serif. So serifs are basically these that have the, the edges that look like kind of like Times New Roman. Or you can put sans serif, which is without the serif, right? You can put calligraphy, so handwritten, and you can do that, and you can just kind of check the different things out. They have these variable fonts. I don't know what that is, but geometric, Montserrat. So we can use, for example, this one of these. Let's just choose plus Jakarta or Lexend. Let's choose Lexend just for shits and giggles. So let's go here, Lexend. Click on this. Right. So we have a nice type logo, and it's we can see that it's aligned. So if we were to click on the logo and we were to hover, we were just to hover around it by holding the options button, you can see that it's 36 pixels away from the top and 162 from the left. And this is 140 from the right. So we want to also make this kind of 140. So we go 1, 2, and then we shift and to go 10 places like that. 140, 36. All right. And how much is this from the top? 36. Okay, perfect. So in terms of alignment, it's good. But actually we want this to, we want to add a kind of icon here. So this is where the cool things come from Figma, which is using plugins. So if we were to manage plugins, we can search for something like icons, and we can just click on this one and click on run. And let's see. So we have a bunch of different icons, and we can just use this Tinder icon. But this is just as an example of the different things. So I don't want to use this Tinder icon. Let's use another one. I found this one called feather icon, so we can just click on that. And then we can just choose something that we like. Maybe this one. And all right, so now I want to put it into the frame. So make sure that everything is in the frame. So there's only one thing that's outside of our frames, which is this screenshot, which is okay. But everything in here must be inside the frame, right? So now we have this thing and we want to combine it with this. So let me just scale it down by just simply clicking Shift and here. But oh crap, we have a problem. And if I scale it down, because it's a vector right here, you can see that it's a vector. It scales down, but the vector width stays the same. So this is where the scale, where's the scale? Here, the scale comes in handy. So there's a shortcut for the normal, for this, which is V, and then for scale, you just click on K. So I want to scale this down. And now it's like the same type of width as it was before, but it does look kind of skinny. Let me click on V again and click on this, and let me adjust the properties so that, it doesn't have to be the same as it was before, but just a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, maybe 2 or 2.5, something like this. So it matches the font width. And let's make this a different color. Let's make this maybe like a nice blue, or let's make this like this cool green, like this mix between green and bluish. And now what we want to do is we want to basically group this together and align this to the left so that it's perfectly aligned with everything. So as you can see, since it's a vector, it's not going to be perfectly aligned. So just as I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. Just make it like this, because at the end of the day, it needs to just look nice. we might also want to increase the size of the logo because the logo does look a little bit bigger here. So we can just scale out this and we can make the logo bigger. Doesn't really matter the font size because it's just the logo, and it has to kind of be in the same, you know, as you can see here, it's right in the middle with everything else. Perfect. So we got that covered. Now we want to, let's make this text over here. So what we can do is we can just do something else. Tutorial management. So easy a caveman can do it. Okay, so did I put a period at the end? No. So now what I did was I basically added a text, and you can either add a text like so and start typing, but I don't like to do that. I just like to click on the text, or I like to click on T and start typing like this, because then the text box is going to grow exactly with the width of the text. And we want to make this text smaller, but first, we want to make the box smaller so it kind of cuts with restaurant management or tutorial management. But first, let's increase the sizing. So we have something like 40 pixels, and we want to make it bold, or maybe semi-bold, and we want to make it the same font as the logo. So there's a little bit of a branding element, and now we can go like this. Right, and even if you want to put this in the bottom, you can do so by going like that. And then we can do something like this. And then maybe we can even decrease the size. And there's also, we can also increase the spacing between the lines by doing something like this, line height. So right now it's set to auto, but you can increase it, which I don't recommend. I would rather kind of decrease it a bit, but it's not so necessary. All right, and now we have this other text in the bottom, so we can just go like this. And a good thing to use is ChatGPT to generate some type of text. So we can put like, let's see if they have something like that. GPT, no. Figma, a plugin that can talk. GPT copy, maybe? Text AI, okay, cool. Let's try this one. See, so I'm using all of these different plugins. Some of them cost, but some of them don't. So let's just test it out. Okay, this one is paid, but it did generate me some type of text, but maybe this is not a good example. Let's choose another one. Like let's just generate a lorem ipsum. I don't recommend doing this, but because you can generate some sentences, but like it's lorem ipsum, it's not really realistic. But I would do this with ChatGPT or something like that, right? So let's just make it a little bit longer by including this. And then we want to increase the line height a bit, so it looks like this. So it looks nice. And this, since it's a paragraph text, let's keep it at enter. And this, since it's the title, let's keep it at this branded title. So now it's looking pretty good. We can even, for example, remove this, and now you can see it's looking cleaner, interesting, but we're still not done. We want to make these buttons, right? And the way to make a button, let's just copy the text and let's put, let's make the try for free one first. Try for free. And the try for free one, we can make, what we can do is that, so that we don't have this long box, we can just double click. And let's make sure that the line height is set to auto. And now to create this spacing around, one would think, okay, I can put a box underneath and color it blue. But the best way to do it is just by clicking Shift A, and now we have a frame. So this is really important when working with developers. We want to create frames so that they know exactly. So for example, we would have to add this to a frame, going like this, and then we would have to add these two together to a frame, and then we'd have to like maybe add another thing and put it in the bottom by clicking bring to the bottom, make it over the rough draft, and removing the color, but also making this kind of as a frame. The reason I do this is because this is like the responsive design element. So you want to know what elements come together so that when it comes down to a mobile size, it can collapse and not stay horizontal but go vertical, for example. So we made our frame here. Our frame needs a color, so let's add a color. Let's add this blue color. What we can do is we can just go here and click on blue. Oh no, but our branding is kind of the screen, so let's just choose the screen color. And we want the text to be white. So we can either click on this frame and it shows us all the colors inside, which is easy. We can just do that and just go like that, white. Or if we press Command Z, we can Command click on this text. So if we just hover our cursor over it, nothing, we can't select the text. It selects the frame. But if we were to hold down Command and then hover over the text and then click on it, then you can select the text. So I want to then change it to white, and I want to change the font to semi-bold. And as you can see, there's more space here on the left and right and on the top and the bottom a bit. So that's called the padding. So basically the padding is here. So these are for the left and right sides, and then for the top and bottom sides as well. So for the sides, I would probably make something like 24, and for the top, I would probably add 12. And it's looking much better. But now let's add these radius. How would you call it? Oh man, corner radius. Here you go. So we can just click on 8 or something like that. So now it's looking really good. Perfect. So we have this. We can just put this here where the space was from the other button. And now we can just hold on Option and Shift to just, duplicate it perfectly to the left side. And we want to change the text here to watch video. All right. But we need a plugin, an icon. Right? So let's go back to our feather icons and let's search for play. So we have something like that. Cool. Let's select this one. I like this one. And let's bring this to our frame. And okay, it doesn't really go into this frame. So what we want to do is we want to rename this to left button and to right button. And we want to just drag this play icon in this left button. All right, and now the frame basically just scales with the size of the icon. So let's just decrease it. Something like this might be good. And then we want to basically make the icon, let's select this icon and make it the same width as the other one on the top. So like this, and let's make it white. All right, and then we want to make this green. As you can see, it's like the same color blue, but much lighter. And what we can do with this is we can just decrease the opacity to like 25 maybe. And then this is the same blue as this, so let's select this and replace the green here. Oh, actually, as you can see, there's like some problem with the outlines. What we want to do is we want to go one by one at best for the beginning, and then change the colors like this, because sometimes if you want to change the colors, because this isn't a vector and this is not a vector, and if you select them both at the same time, then there's going to be some color troubles. So let's just avoid that from now. Let's make these maybe about 20 pixels from each other, maybe 12 pixels. And let's hide the rough draft by clicking this eye icon. And okay, it's looking nice, but the space is kind of big. So let's see, 20, let's make it like 12 pixels. And let's make this much closer, like 32. And let's select this and center this, right? And what I want to do also is I want to make this Shift A and this Shift A. So we can call this a button row. And we can call this a text column. And then we want to Shift A and we want to do this again, put it into another box, just so we organize everything, right? And we can call this one navbar. And we can call this hero left. All right, and then we got just two things left. We want to build this right part here, and so this is going to be the fun part, because we're going to be doing a little bit more design, not so much technical learning. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to make this background. I don't want to make it just like they do. I want to make it maybe a little bit different, but in the same kind of style. So like I said, I always use this a rectangle and I just draw, right? Let's maybe make our grid on, or maybe we don't even need it. And we don't really need our rough draft anymore, because we kind of built the most important things. This third thing that we're doing now is just a design thing, right? So we want to align it maybe like this. And let's do something like this. And let's add some corner radius. And let's add the color. And it's kind of too dark. I don't like it when it's so dark. So maybe make it very light for now. And let's find a picture of a teacher instead of a chef. So we can go here and we can go to manage plugins, and we can go to Unsplash, which is a great stock image plugin or website that's native to Figma as well. So we go here and let's search the keyword teacher. So if I were to search teacher, yes, this one looks good. Oh, okay, but it's premium, so it's not ready with the free version. Let's search like profile image. I wanted something like this. Something like this is good. This one is good, but it's too dark. Because basically what I want to do is I want to find an image and remove the background. This might be good. Let's just add it. This might be good as well. Oops. So I want to show the body, right? And this one might be good too. So I just got some 3 variants. I want to choose this one first, and it's a very, very good quality picture because it's unsplash. And what we want to do is we want to find manage plugins, and we want to go remove background remover. So this one has a lot of users, so let's just pick this one, run. Let's see how it works. Okay, so you need some type of API key. So let's just try to find one that maybe doesn't. I think they're all gonna need one. Background remover. This one. Okay, it says no API key is needed. Remove background. So I've never used that plugin. Let's see how it works. So it did work. It didn't work so well. I mean, this isn't the best picture to use either. I'm just trying to show you the potential that there is. But the best thing to do for something like this is just to, you know, have your own picture, maybe even use Midjourney and say white background or something like that. And then what we can do is we can go like this. We can add it here to our project. As you can see, the image frame was bigger, so by using command, I decreased the size. And now I want to bring it here, and I want to make it kind of like with this cool effect. There's like a background, and there's also this thing here. So what I can see is that there are two layers to this, because this person is going outside, but is also going inside. So they're using two people, and I'm going to show you how. So we have this one, and what we can do is we can go here. We duplicated this square down here. And what we can do is we can just copy this image going here and just doing Command C if I click on the left, and then going here and putting Command V. So now what I want to do is I want to go here and I want to crop the image. I want to first fit the image, and now I want to crop it by, I want to crop it. Sorry, so let me first, then basically what we're going to do is we're going to go like this so that part of it can go out, right? So like something like this. And then with this one, we're basically going to put her like in the same position, but smaller, and try to match it. Something like that. And then we want to, from this upper layer, decrease the size on the top and just keep it like that. So now we have something like this, and we can just group it together. And let's delete this one and bring this one up here. So we have this nice imaginary teacher or tutorial maker. We have this nice tutorial maker, and we have the group here, right? So that's one way of doing it. That's how we do this with this double effect. It's very simple. Like I said, it's just two people, same picture, just putting one in the square and putting the other one half off of the square. Now we can do stuff like this. And before we do that, we can, okay, yeah, let's just do these things, and then we can do some background elements like this. So what we want to do is we want to add, like, maybe let's add a card like this and a card like this, right? So we want to go like this, and we want to go like this here. And they are also kind of rounded on the side, so let's add some corner radius of about 12. Let's make it white. And you can't really see it, And the reason is because they have a cool effect. They have a drop shadow effects. And the way how you do that is you go to effects, and under effects you put this drop shadow. So basically click plus, drop shadow. And you're already gonna see that they have some little drop shadow effect, but it's not as smooth as this one, right? So what we can do is we can just copy these, click on this, and then we can increase the blur a bit. And again, this is something that's in your likings. I always put this like a little bit lower, and something like this might work out, right? We want to add other ones, like these smaller ones with the new order. And maybe like a smaller rectangle over here. And maybe a circle. So we can either bring in a circle and put it here and change the color to white, and then just copy the drop shadow by just going here and clicking Command C and Command V. And then we can put another little circle next to this new order, like this. Something like that. Look cool. All right. So for each one, we want to put different designs. We might want to put like an icon in here. Let's put like an icon that relates to teaching. So we can go to our feathers icon that we used before, and we can use like some, I don't know, like a mailbox, a mail thing would be good. And let's press K and move it, and then scale it down. Something like that. Let's X this. Let's put this to 2.5. So everything is consistent, and let's make the stroke to this green that we have for our branding. I also noticed that this might be a little bit too dark, the background, so let's just decrease this to 15. All right, we can add another icon over here that has like a kind of other layer on top. So we can do something like that. So we can, with R, I can just draw a rectangle like this. Maybe add the corner radius of 10, decrease this. And we can just put the fill to this. So it's kind of going to be a kind of like a button with a background and a text on top, but we don't need to do the layout, what's it called, this thing, the Shift A, because we're this is just going to be an image that we're going to export. So let's put 200 plus, and we can make it white. And we can make this a bit smaller. Right. And then we can put another icon there by going to the feathers icon and choosing another one, maybe this users. Let's move it, and again, and let's also make sure that everything is inside the desktop, because there's some certain things that are outside, which are these two. We don't even need these anymore. Let's just delete them. And let's finish this off by K and decreasing this, something like this. And let's make it 2.5 so everything is consistent. Was it 2.5 or was it 3.5? 3.5. Okay, so let's make everything 3.5. Let's decrease this, it's still too big. All right. It's looking better. So let me see what else we can add. We can add something like this. So this is an interesting type of graphic because we're going to use a circle. And we want to grow the circle, but we don't want to fill. We just want the outline, but not the whole outline, right? So if we were to go like this and go stroke like this and add a color and maybe increase the size, it kind of looks the same, but it's not. So what we want to do is we want to double click this circle and we want to kind of click the area of where the cut has to be and then double click outside of that again, and then you can just delete it like that. So it has to be, you know, you can put however you want, but it's in that logic. And let's probably increase the size of this, and let's bring it back to our graphic, which is over here. And let's bring this over here. And as you can see, they have like this flat end. And I believe they also have the flat end, but we can change these flat ends to something like round, like this, which also looks pretty cool. Let's get this small text and bring it over here. Write 24 plus. Make it black, put it in the middle. And then we can just progress in students this month. Right? Progress in student conversions. And let's do this. Awesome. Let's make this regular. So it's looking already pretty cool. So now we have new clients and returning. So let's just do that one. Let's make it the same. New students. And let's double click this over here. All right, so we want to add new students and returning. So returning. And then we want to go back and see how this guy did it. So, all right, we have two ways of doing this. I would do it with the rectangle and just go two rectangles. We have, as you can see here, there's like one really light gray one and then the green one. And then you have the green one. So I would like get the color from here. And then I would duplicate this and make it smaller and then, whoops, make it shorter here. And then get this color, you know? I would do something like that. And then it's rounded, so basically giving it a corner radius of 10 pixels. But another way of doing it is with this point thing. And what you can do is you can get this and make the end point round and the start point round. And you can increase the weight. And then you can just go like this. And get this, you know, it's the same thing, but I prefer with the rectangles, to be very honest, from my designer point of view. So let's make it kind of the same width and height, like this. And we just want to bring it over here and put it right under the new students. We can even make the height a little bit bigger since our graphic is different size. And returning, we can make it smaller. So returning, we can even make it a different color. So if we have so let's first of all bring it back to our original green, because this green is not ours. This is our green. And if we want to like change colors and we want to match it with our green, what we can do is we can go like this. We can go here, and then we can change the color here, because it's going to be in the same position, but it's going to be in a different, we can make it like this, so it matches with each other. So we can go something like this, like a lime green. And then what we can do here is, or what I wanted to also show you is, not only do we have these solid colors, but we have gradients. And we have these types of gradients that we can go like this. So we can make it like from dark green to light green. Or we can make it from, for example, from red, like a bright red, to green. And we can even add another color in the middle that's yellow. So it can be like a bright red to something like this. Looks cool. We can even add some nice gradients over the original color, so it has like some type of inner shadow effect, like this. And we can also make these, because maybe it might be a little bit too green, everything, we can make it, we can go here to HSB, and we can decrease this, we can decrease the saturation to a gray, so that it's like in the same level, but it's gray. And it kind of looks nice like that. All right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we can just keep it green, because the green also looks nice. Okay. And what we want to do here, let's use Unsplash again, and let's find maybe like a young guy, and use them so that they're like a student. This guy, and we have his picture here, and we don't want it to be completely full. We want to actually, let's delete this, because it's we want to add like a inside outline, so that it's white, so it kind of looks like a profile image, so you can see kind of, like if it were to be something like Instagram, it would have like some type of gradient, like this, and like with the purple or whatever Instagram has. So as you can see, something like this, right? All right, and then we want to finish this. Actually, I didn't finish it. So 120, 15%, 15%, okay. 150 and 30, 60, 70%, and then we can even increase this a little bit so it's closer, and then we can put 62, 45%, something like that, and then we can make this. You can even style the fonts differently inside of the text. And we can make this also like bold, and we can make it this same green color. And if we want to like save these colors, what we can do is we can save this, and we can put it like lime green. So we can create a variable. We can go here, we can create this, we can create another color, blue, deep blue, create variable, and then we have our brand color, so we can create this one, brand green. So I'm going to show you why in a second. So if we were to, for example, make this thing green, we can go here and we can just choose the different colors, right? Without having to pick them and stuff like that. So that's just a quick example. So let's finish this one, new order. So you have a new order. Right. Cool. So we have our simple landing page almost done. Let's just add these cool little things in the background. And as they're going to be in the very background, so like in the first layer all the way in the bottom. So what we can do is we can create a big, well, let me actually create it from the bottom. We can create a large square like this. Actually, what we can do is we can duplicate this. This can be called a background. And this background can be, everything can be deleted, and rough draft as well. Let's delete this. And what we want to do is we want to just add like these different squares. So let's delete her from here, and let's make these squares maybe 4% opacity. And what we want to do is we want to add these squares everywhere. So if I were to, the reason why I chose a frame and not a square, actually, you know, maybe the best part is not even to do this frame because it might be a little bit too complicated. Actually, no. The reason why I did this frame is because if we were to make this longer and we would put the background, we would want this to have a nice cut. So I don't know if they have it here in this. Yeah, you see how it cuts? Because this is a frame of its own, right? So that's what I want to do here. I want to make a frame of its own. So if we go back to Figma, and now I have this long frame, I want it to be a frame of its own so that these little images cut. So that's exactly what I'm doing. You see they're going to cut right here. So let's just go like this. Let's change the direction, maybe like this over here. Let's make it smaller. Actually, let's scale it so that the radius stays the same. And then we have a bigger one like over here. Looks pretty big. This one is really big. All right, so I'm gonna basically increase it like this. Put it like that. All right, now we have a nice little background. Don't really see it so well, so I'm just gonna select everything again and make it a little bit lighter, maybe 6. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it here. We're gonna align it in the middle, and we want to bring this to the very bottom by clicking this shortcut, or you can just, you know, right click and bring to center back. Now since it's in the back, let's move this all the way to the top by, you can also go like this. There we go. And now we can see kind of the mixture of everything. So let's just make sure that it's a little bit lighter. We can also make it like a little bit gray, maybe. Then we can even edit it a little bit more, so we can even make this one fit this design a little bit better. And then make something like that. And then what we want to do is let's just decrease the size of this frame. I just wanted to show you that example. So cool, we now have a nice little hero section. It took us like a little bit less than an hour, maybe an hour. And next step would be to do the responsive design. So responsive design is quite simple. I think the only thing that really changes here is that we want to make instead of using this particular design like this, we want to make it basically like a hamburger menu. So what I mean by that is we can just duplicate this. Let's deselect everything. Let's group our guy here, and we don't want to make it 120 pixels, the layout grid, but we want to make it something like, hold on, let me show you. We want to still make it 12. And we want to make it maybe 60 pixels or like 80, something like this. So we have the logo here on the top. We have, let's look for hamburger menu. Perfect. We can use this. Remember, this is just Figma. Figma is just here to help us design. There's no functionality in this particular tutorial, because if you want to use, for example, prototyping, I would not do it in Figma. If you want to be a real web designer, do it in a place like Framer. So this is going to be 3.5, and it's going to be in this right direction. So it's looking cool. We have this nav bar on the top, and now it comes the easy part. We just gotta replace everything. I mean, just remove everything as it was. So we have this background. Do we want to use it for the tablet? Maybe we do. So let's just go like this, and let's move this like this, and let's move some of the elements so that they're a little bit different in tablet, right? And then in the tablet, we might want to just bring this here. And maybe we don't want the text to be left aligned, but we want it to be center aligned. And let's get this, and we want everything to be center aligned. So we can just center align like this. Perfect. Center align everything. So, okay. And now we get this graphic. Let's just, let's lock this background frame, and let's select everything, and let's group it so that it's one nice graphic. And now what we can do for the tablet is we can add the image like this right underneath. For the phone as well. For the phone, we just copy this, bring this here. We can, I don't think we really need the background for the phone. Yeah, move this, and then we can even make the buttons a little bit. Yeah, it would be nice to be centered like this. And then for the phone, make the graphic even smaller by scaling it and keeping it like this. Right. So, we seem to be done here. I hope you guys learned something today. This is a simple thing that web designers need to know, is using Figma to just sketch out designs. To be honest, I use a lot of Figma for my work. Especially when I work in big web development projects, I create a lot of the layouts in Figma. I present it to the client. They add their comments in Figma you can also add comments down here by just going here and saying, let's make this another font, just right. So you can add comments, but we don't need them. And yeah, it's a very important tool to know about, not only for your web design, but also if you want to pitch clients, make presentations. If you're interested in learning something about that, please write that down in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to make a video on that. But yeah, basically this is it. This is just a very simple design that we built off of a real template that we found in the Framer template marketplace. And I hope you guys enjoyed it today. I hope you guys learned something. I really did. I do hope you guys learned something. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. And thanks for being here until the end. All right. Bye-bye.